Does it say that I'm live? I'm live? Am I live? Yes? No?
Yes?
Ice Scrappers, Tom from the Ice Scrap app. Today is Wednesday, July 11th, 2018. Let's start with some good positive news. For many of you that live close to a local convenience store you may have heard of called 7-Eleven, I know that as a kid I always rode my bike to 7-Eleven to get Slurpees, and today they give them out for free. You get a free small Slurpee from 7-Eleven in honor of 7-Eleven. No, they did not pay me to plug this. Man, I wish they did. That would be pretty great. I'd be swimming in Slurpees right now, but they're free anyway, so go get your free one. So I wanted to give you a little positive news before we turn into what's become a bit of a dreary market the last few weeks. I know that I'm a little more upbeat, but I'm trying to be as optimistic as I can because it's better to be optimistic than pessimistic and try to figure out where this market is, and learning how trends go and what's affecting the market is very, very important, because that's what's going to be able to give you a better idea on where the market could possibly go in the future. So while we've seen copper prices retreat another 2 or 3% the last week and a half or so, we have seen a couple of positive signals out there, which we'll talk about. But one thing we want to always remind you, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we do our live reports. We try to answer as many questions as we can during these live sessions. So ask any of them. If you're watching after the fact, please comment and ask a question. We'll make sure to respond, and probably you'll see some responses from other scrappers who are watching as well. We've been continuing to watch our Facebook group grow, talking with people talking about scrap, almost up to 2,000 people in a short month and a half, and the comments and the commentary and the pictures and the knowledge that's being shared is really crazy. I mean, I'm learning things from other scrappers, and I've been in this industry for 25, almost 30 years. So it's really cool to watch how people learn tricks and different tips and things that they've learned. So it's been really fun to watch. So in the last week, we have seen the copper prices fall. We've seen the price of Bear Bright drop, average pricing between $202 and $237 per pound over the last week or so. Today, we saw a large pullback with the announcement of the tariffs that are going to be imposed on another $200 billion of Chinese goods by the U.S. That had an immediate effect on the market, with the stock market falling over 200 points while we're doing this now, and with copper dropping 10 cents just today, not including the last few days where we've seen the market decline as well. We saw the market kind of level off towards the end of last week and the beginning of this week, but with the news coming out yesterday about the tariffs, we kind of saw a big red flag, and we knew that something was going to happen today, which it has. Now, we've also seen gas prices continue to stay at a very high level. We even read a couple of reports where some analysts believe that there's a chance that gas could double in price. Price of oil could go up to $145 per barrel, and today it's around 73. So it's one of those things where it's not going to be an immediate thing, but they think that different market effects and factors could hit the market in the next 2 years, and you could possibly see the price of gasoline double. So it's going to be a very interesting time in the next few years, next few months, and the next few weeks, where we're trying to learn more and more about where this market's going to be going. We've seen aluminum siding being reported in the high 30s and low 40s per pound. Some yards are paying upwards of 50, 52 cents a pound. Brass prices not affected as much as you would think, considering copper's taken such a deep dive. We have seen yellow brass prices being reported 137 to 159 per pound. So we'll talk about the copper prices. The market has definitely taken a hit. It hurts. It gets a big sock to the gut. We've seen these prices drop to over 1-year lows, and after hitting 1-year highs a short 4 weeks ago, we've seen the market decline 58 cents per pound over the last 4 weeks. So you do that math, you're looking at almost a 20% drop over a 4-week period. That's really, really crazy. I mean, think about having a $100 bill in your pocket. 4 weeks later, it's worth 80 bucks. That's kind of what's happened. So a lot of people have asked us what we think is going to happen and what we think they should do with their materials, and we have stuck to the same opinion as we've had forever. Sell it if you got it. Now, some of you like to hold on and save copper and wait for that $3 per pound bear, right? And we did see one person report $3 per pound about a month ago, but that was it. Only one person, and it looked like a very isolated couple of days where a scrapyard was being super aggressive. Other than that, we've seen a lot of people cashing out and telling us that they've been cashing out, sharing pictures of their receipts, prices they've been getting, and those have been really positive things. Now, with the copper prices being so all over the map right now, we're really hesitant to tell you to save. I continue to think that you should cash out. Virginia, we have a question?
We have a question from Bob. He asks,
hey, Bob.
Can I add whole hard drives in with my aluminum?
No, I don't think that you can. You couldn't at my yard, and I'm sure that many of my other fellow yard owners would say the same. Having hard drives in there, you have multiple materials. You have gold-bearing items, circuit boards, and some scrap yards can't put that in. That'd be considered a dirty aluminum. While you think it may be worth 40 cents, I bet you'd be worth 10 cents a pound if a scrap yard doesn't buy a lot of electronic scrap. Separate it or take it apart and put the aluminum in. Question?
We also have another question from Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Where do you see cast aluminum going the rest of the year? One yard paying 50 cents per pound, another 35 around here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, Brian. 35 to 50 cents is actually the range that we've seen in the U.S. for the last few weeks, few months. I think that the aluminum prices are going to be one of those markets that is going to be heavily affected by this trade war and these tariffs that are going on, and we're going to really have to stay tuned to see what happens going forward. The Europeans, while they're a little hesitant, we see a lot of people asking questions about what's going to happen. So I'll give you as brief and as compressed a view as I can see it. A lot of this is me just trying to derive things and make it sense as much as I can. You know, I certainly don't consider myself a political genius by any means, but what I see happening is, you know, President Trump and his cabinet are trying to equal the playing field for the world, where for many years we've been, you know, selling and buying goods to the world, and we've been getting, the U.S. has been getting a lot of the short stick. You know, one example that I've seen, a lot of Chinese companies have brought their business into the U.S. and they've listed on the stock market and they've opened up data centers, where the Chinese haven't allowed many U.S. companies, if any, to reciprocate that, to open, you know, more data centers and larger businesses there and list themselves in the Chinese stock exchange. So it hasn't been an equal back and forth. So a lot of these tariffs, what's trying to be done, it's not trying to affect the consumer. You know, a lot of people are going to look at this too short term, where you have to open your eyes and see the forest through the trees. You know, these tariffs that are going on are meant to open other countries' eyes and bring them to the negotiating table. We're not looking to win. No one's a winner in this. It's like a lawsuit. Think about a lawsuit. One person suing another. No one wins except the lawyers in between. You know, you're trying to get to a more equal playing field, a better ground where both people are not going to be happy, but both people aren't going to be unhappy. We haven't had a chance yet to sit at the table with many of these countries, such as China, and even many of our allies, Canada, Mexico, and many of the countries in the European nations, in the EU. We're trying to kind of say to people, listen, we want to do business with you, but we want to do fair business with you, and if we're going to have short-term losses and people pissed off for long-term gains and prosperity and people being happy with their deals, we're ready to do that, and that's what we see happening. And you know, we're in the vortex, as my dad would say. We're in this crazy vortex right now where things are spinning all over the place. I mean, copper dropping 20% in 4 weeks is unheard of. Copper dropping 20% in 1 year, all right, I can see that happening. Market effects, maybe a minor recession, things are going on. But you're talking about a 20% hit in a 4-week period of time. We go from a 4 or 5 year high to a 1.5 year low. You know, that's a very large swing, and that's a scary thing because it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down anytime soon. Do I see $2 copper coming? No, I don't think we see that market coming for trading purposes, but I do see copper pulling back another 20 to 30 cents before it levels itself off and goes up. So don't expect these prices to increase anytime immediately, because what's going to happen is they're going to finally hit a bottom. When that bottom hits, people are going to be so apprehensive that it's going to go down again that they are going to remain very, very neutral and very passive in their buying. So you're not going to see super aggressive prices coming out of scrap yards. Me, my own yard, you know, I go to bed and I wake up and all my materials are worth 10 cents less overnight. And while many scrappers, they look at it as, a few $100s, and listen, everyone's money is important to them. Larger scrap yards lost tens of thousands of dollars overnight when the markets have such large swings like they're having. So what are they going to do? They're going to drop their prices further than they should to protect themselves against further price drops. Virginia, another question?
We have a question from Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Where do you see scrap steel may go for the rest of the year?
So I think that the steel market, thank you for the question, Joe. I think the steel market is going to be one of the more safe bets for the rest of 2018. While I have heard that there's going to be $10 to $15 per ton pullbacks coming towards the end of July and early August, overall this market has been very steady for 2018. That's a good thing. So we've seen the market for steel remain relatively steady. We've seen light iron prices reported between $97 and $167 per ton. We've talked many times about the large range, where you are, how often scrap yards are able to sell, the loads that they can move. So you have a lot of factors that factor into these equations. So I think that for the rest of the year, steel is going to be at a relatively solid price to where it is, up or down $30 per ton, but still at a very, very strong level that everyone should be able to make money with. One thing I do not recommend is holding on to your steel. Why touch something twice? Think about this. Let's say that steel is worth $200 per ton. Nice round number, roughly roughly 10 cents per pound. Would you hold your copper for a penny or two? Even though there's a lot of it, steel, you could have 10,000 pound loads easily. Why are you going to hold out for, let's say you have a 5,000 pound load, a penny up or down is 50 bucks. We're not talking about $500. So we recommend if you have steel on your truck, move it one time to the scrap yards, get it the hell out of your way, cash in, move on to the next load. That's our opinion on the steel market. Hopefully you can share yours with us and let us know what you think is going to be going on, but don't touch things more than once. We've always had the opinion in my scrap yard and in how we do business, work smarter, not harder, and touching things more than one time can often cause you losses opposed to the gains because you think that the market going up $20 per ton is going to equate to that much extra. $20 on a 5,000 pound load is only 50 bucks. I know $50 is a lot of money, but think about what your time is worth. What do you get paid per hour at work? $15, $20 per hour? Does it take you an hour to unload and an hour to reload? There's $40 of your time that you could have saved otherwise. Take 20 of that back by just unloading once at the scrapyard. Gold prices stay in the mid-$1,200 range. $1,252 per ounce is what I saw a little while ago. One major issue with the electronics market is moving scrap, believe it or not. A lot of people want a lot of the materials for reuse, but a lot of the electronics market, such as the power supply market that has a lot of copper in it, is relatively weak right now and a little softer than it should be because people are looking for more resale items, not for scrapping items. Overall, this is a very, very shaky market right now. I'm not going to sit here and try to sugarcoat it. I do think that you should cash out as you have materials coming into your possession because that's always the smartest play. Take the money and run. Don't be foolish. But if you do like to gamble, I would tell you you'd better get ready to hold on for a little longer than a week or two because this is going to be a very bumpy roller coaster that does not look to slow down anytime this summer or even early fall. Guys, this is Tom from the iScrap app. Every Wednesday afternoon, we try to do our live report at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Please comment below. Tell us what you're looking to learn. We'll give you a link to our scrap forum where you can post prices, where you can see different ideas and receipts and ways to take materials apart. I've learned more about scrap in the last month than I thought that I would have through it. So I thank many of you who are watching and have tuned into our videos, our blogs, our reports. Until next week, scrappers, I'll scrap you later.